My colleague just told me that she never introduces herself as the interpreter. And it just completely broke something open for me. We got talking, we like just bumped into ourselves at a booking. I had my client going for surgery and she was just waiting. It was just miscalculation with the time. So we got talking. Again, this is how great my days have been. I guess when you're just intentional about what you're doing, you're seeing more and more people. So yeah, we bumped in, we talked for almost over an hour again, which is very rare in our space. And we just got talking about everything. We just felt comfortable, over the years we'll catch up and stuff like that. And she said that, you know what, I don't introduce myself as the interpreter, and I say that I support the deaf community or things like that, and it was fascinating and interesting for me because of the season that I am right now. Hi, I am Nene, and I help people become the person their goals require. And everything I talk about here is something that I personally have lived. And then we get to start talking about it, or we get to talk about it. And her comment sent me straight into where I have been sitting in within the last couple of months. And in the season where I like beginning of 2025, I like, you know what, I'm gonna go all in with interpreting. I was like, yes. We started doing like being known for like being the interpreter coach, training on the mindset side of things and and my thing is all about the identity we're bringing to the plate. It's about how we feel like the problem is always the skill, where for me the skill is secondary, and how you as a person, the identity, what's showing up for you in the moment, that's the driver. And that's the thing that once you can tackle that skill, will be able to flourish and showcase oneself. So yes, I've been like, that's kind of like my thing as a, being trained as a lead neurocoding specialist. I've done neurocoding, what's it called? NLP. I've done like the law of attraction things, all those kind of like all those things. I've embodied because of I am my very first client. I've done that work and shifted, and it's still in that evolving space. And I just thought, okay, this is the people that I'm speaking to. So for the longest time, I was speaking to them and I was just sharing my story and the passion. No, not the passion, excuse me, my say, but my like the skill, like what I've learned, how I have transformed, or the process of where I am, how my thinking was then, how the self-doubt, the self-love and imposter and all those things, and how now I'm able to just manage it. Doesn't mean that it's all completely gone or whatever, but if it does show up, I have the tools and the things to make sure that I regulate, or I stay present and all those things. So all those things are kind of like where I'm at and how um I'm showing up. So I started like talking about that more. And then in the recent years, all my mentors have been coming across as like, look, you get to like you are the niche. And in recent time, personal branding has been the thing where you showcase you. And me saying I'm this interpreter coach for a long time, now I'm in the space of like, I am the niche. My I get to showcase not just my story, my lived experience and all those things, my passion, what I'm interested in, what I'm about and all those things. And then like stuff that I've known, I've been trained for, or like, interpreting is part of that story. Being a mom of four boys is part of that story. Being married now for over almost 25 years is part of that story. Being a daughter, like all these different things, and being somebody who was very like shy, introvertedly shy, and thinking that was how my life was going to be, and being now someone who can, you know, strike up a conversation. all those things are part of what makes me me, my uniqueness, my birthmark. Like, hello, who do you know has this exact patterning? If you do, please let me know, my twin, because I get to meet them, or just hi something. So all those things brings the joy. My love for just dancing, you know, um, it's part of like where I am right now. So me then introducing myself as I am this interpreter coach. Oh, I am your. This is what I'm doing now. It's fascinating. When I see like like the mentors and that I look up to and stuff like that, and see I see how they're saying how they're nicheless or they're multifaceted and stuff like that. So her saying that just kind of like, yeah, I'm in that season now of this messy middle of like, okay, I am the band becoming in real time. Like, okay, this is like where I'm showcasing. I still have my interpreting clients um that I, as in interpreting, I work with, and then those who I coach and mentor and stuff like that on the side. I'm still running my home, you know, boys doing all the different things. So it was that truly was the core of, okay, I see what you're saying, because that truth is also in me, and it's also kind of like how I'm in that season right now of this is who I am. And it's very fascinating because when she said that, if we look at just in terms of just introducing oneself, when you go into a booking, an assignment, whatever where you have to go and interpret, the go-to is, for me, is, hi, I'm Nene and I am your sign language interpreter for today. That gives them the clarity they need to know, oh, okay, you're the interpreter, da, 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 da. And I can see how that feels like, okay, I am it, you know? And it just, again, with the conversation we're talking about, I'm like, nowadays, a lot of colleagues have specialized lanyards so that you can just pinpoint that, okay, yes, I'm the interpreter, or like it would say like BSL. I've even seen an ASL one, like I'm the interpreter, or like have specialist even badge and saying interpreter on there. And I shy away from like, they would, like, colleagues would come around, okay, I'm ordering like a batch thing, do you want a piece? Because then the price is reduced and then everyone has how many they want and then you get it. I've really not signed up to say, I want one. And then our governing body now came up with like, you can wear the lanyard or you can show it in thy phone. And I was like, yay to like, let's go. I downloaded that app like from toe. So I go in now and I do. I just show it. I don't have to wear it. Okay, yes, there is a convenience of, especially for sign language interpreters, they can easily spot you. I know, oh, okay, you're the sign language interpreter or thereabout. It's easy to find, and that makes sense. At the same time, in the season of my evolving, of changing to now being me, and this is just part of me. So showcasing the badge and, excuse me, doesn't sit well with me. And and there's one agency that I work for, so they have this thing where they have like a feedback, kind of like, did the interpreter arrive on time, did they dress up properly, like they wearing their ID and stuff like that. And that one always catches, as soon as they get to that third question and say, are they wearing the ID, people look up and like, I'm like, baby, it's on the phone. Because when I come in, whoever I meet first, I show them like, hey, like stuff. But what tends to happen or ends up happening is the person I then see, or the person who signs my form, isn't the person who gets to. So then I have to always like remind myself, as soon as I go into the room and see the clinician or see the person, whatever, I would then go like, hey, I'm your interpreter, da da da, and then show. If I most If I remember, I don't always remember most of the time, but when I do remember, I'll do that because it's always a go-to. Like people are like, yeah, 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 yeah. What was your... One lady was like, "What's your ID?" I'm like, "It's on the phone you're signing on. Oh, you're supposed to put it on." I'm like, where's in my head? Where is this stated that you have to put this thing on? Like, I get the convenience. I understand the whole 9 yard. And fortunately for me, as a freelance sign language interpreter, there is no, you have to wear it. Like, this is part of what you sign up the contract. You have to be like, if I was stationary in a place like, hospitals, to know who's staff and who's whatever, and is he, because it's such a big place and like, you can self-identify and stuff like that. In those kind of like scenarios, I get why one will wear one. But I do my own thing. Um, this is it. This is how we are showing up right now. This is what it gets to be seen. So yeah, so that's kind of like somebody kind of like understanding, because guess what? I could like, 6 months down the line, think like, no, I've been on this journey on YouTube to like have figuring out how to get to that point of monetization. Somebody might now come down the way like, Nene, like, how did you do it and stuff like that? And that could be a thing that I now feel like, what, I really enjoy this. How did you show me how? Or it could be how your reels, how you do the transit, like, whatever that is, like, show me how. That's a thing. So you can see how people can just like, you're doing something and they're like, I want to do that too. I want to know how. And then that gets to start being showcased. That's where I want to evolve to. Not that it is this, because there's going to come a point in time where, like I've shared in previous videos, where I started off wanting to interpret everywhere all over UK. So tell me where, I'll be there, pay for my travel, I'll be there, right? And then it became, actually, I'm based in London, let's just stay down this way. Let's stay down London Southeast. And it became, N25 area. Let's just stay in London. And it became, oh man, oh, I like the north side. It's easier to navigate or whatever. And then let's do the underground. No, let's just use the bus. As a job that is here, it's in, and then it became, you can drive to whatever, and then it's the inconvenience now of parking. You go to certain places, you can't find parking. If you can't find parking, it is how expensive those parkings are, the spots are, or it's you find one and then like, I just started like, you know what, we're not driving anymore to work. We just do jobs that require me to just convenient for me to come in and out. So in all these ways, how just the interpreting side of things have evolved to now then say this is all I get to do for the rest of my life. No, I don't know. So that's why it's now at this season, this is what I'm celebrate, like what I'm into. And then another time, like the need of people wanting, which will be different, and then that gets to change and that gets to evolve. And that's like, again, a whole different thing. Even as a mother, like there was a time when I would host a lot of time over weekend, just love watching people eat my creation, especially if I'm like just putting a twist on it or trying something new. My husband like, why don't you just do the same thing? But like, just like put this uniqueness and like the spin on and tradition, that was a thing. And I thought I would always want to be hosted. Now it's like, this baby is taking so much time that I like, oh, we'll see what we see. Like that needs to like chill. Like we're not hanging like that no more. We're showing up here every single day. We're handling some humans and then the work situation. Like, I don't have time to host anymore in that way, in that capacity. So again, it just rings true to like, this is just part of who I am. It's just how I am evolving. Like one of my because I remember like when I really wanted, I started on here with YouTube, and my mentor Glow, I thought much. She would be like, just go on and just start talking and just like do your thing. And I've watched this lady, right? And how natural one she is, how talented and gifted and well traveled and vastly the information and all the years of her experience and skills and that she's been able to accumulate and do. And like and it's not like, and she has receipts and evidence to showcase like this is what I'm doing. And then I'm like, and then she's there telling me, then I just put on a camera and just talk, just say whatever. And my mind is like, no, I'm speaking to interpreters. I will always go back defaulting to let's just do interpreting content. Let's just talk about this because this is who I'm speaking to. And she's like, put on a camera, talk about your day, talk about what's happening, what's like, what are you like experience, like just rant. And I'd be like, okay, let me think and rant in my interpretive pocket. It's always like drag it, always like going back. I just don't know what it is. I always defaulted back to finding a way to get back into that interpreting space, to get back into that. And it's just literally this year that I would do a bit of it and come back and do a bit of it and come back, do a bit of come back. This year I then went on to, and this is the beauty of this. She would just kept showing up and showing up and showing up. And people would started asking about certain things. And then she would create for that. They would like ask her something thing, and then she's like, oh yeah, okay, put on the waiting list, get this thing off. And that's how she was able to then build a community. Whereas I was forcing, in my humble opinion, I was forcing into everything in like this is, and that can work. But I wasn't adding any other element. Like people didn't even know that one, I was married or I had kids or I'm into like certain things or like whatever, or I love me, my like culture and none of that because everything went through the lens of the interpreting world to like how I got to where I am in the interpreting and forgetting the other element. And when I went to creator, is it Creator Life by the Creator College, Jun Yi and Sean, and their thing was like you're the nation and stuff like that. As they were sharing, I was just like, man, okay, yes, Glow's right. I can see it now. I see what they're saying and how I am and what's going on. And then I came back here like, you know what? We get to start just talking about what's going on and how things are. And I'm gradually now just in some way documenting my evolving of building a life that I once dreamed of and like let's just like let's do this. And all these different pockets are part of it. You know, I've talked about like my kids, like my the culture that I'm as a Nigerian, uh all these different parts of me I'm beginning to just showcase here and just start in that building the community that would then eventually be like, okay, this is how we kind of like, like do stuff and show up and do. So it is fascinating and interesting to just think of like, okay, that's what's been true for me. Instead of saying I am that, because this is all still in emotion for me. This is still all in as I'm doing it. I'm not on that other side yet. I'm still evolving. I'm still getting there. And people who might also want to be on that side and I'm a few steps in or whatever, we get to sense it, okay, this is how this I guess this is how we do it and this is how we show up and this is how things roll. And yeah, and that's kind of like in the season I'm in right now, and this is what I am showcasing. So how for you, like, do you call yourself whatever title you are, or do you kind of like shy away from it, or or like find that juicy title. I am this, I am that. I am all of it. While I'm still figuring out what is, what's also who I am underneath the title, or how to express this wholeness of me. If you're in that season, if you have clues, if you know exactly what that gets to look like, and yeah, let's carry on that conversation, because if this landed and resonated to you as well, because this is where I'm at. This is what I am in that season of, like, yeah, we get to do this, right? We get to show up and show out. If you haven't done so already, subscribe so that you know when I put stuff out here, as we do this every single day. Remember that your voice matters, and it is your time to use it. Bye for now.